Hey everybody, this is Heather Dewar-Cardin coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather. So here we are, guys. It is Thursday night, 7:30. This is going to be our time to help you really understand how you can optimize your health day to day. I've appreciated all the comments that I've gotten. I've gotten tons of amazing topics to talk about. So everyone's jumping on. I want you to set your clocks because it is going to be every Thursday, 7:30 Central Standard Time. Drop me your email. Let me know what you want to hear about so we can help you have a better journey towards your optimal health. So a little bit about me if you're brand new. My name is Dr. Heather Cardin. I have been practicing for 20 years. I am the co-owner of Cardin Center for Wellness. I'm also the co-chair of Low Carb Keto KC, which is coming up. I'm also one of the Prove It specialists for the company Prove It, and a mother of 4 amazing young men. We opened up our clinic 20 years ago, and we started out right from the very beginning focusing on the 4 major factors of health, which are sleep, the nervous system, nutrition, and attitude. Not necessarily in that exact order, but tonight we're going to be really focusing on fibromyalgia. I had a ton of questions about that. I have taken 3 or 4 weeks of notes trying to say, how do I make this concise and super understandable so that you can have tips to take home and optimize your own health. I know I use that word optimize. We can use anti-aging, feeling better every day, but this is what I do know. I do know that your body has the amazing ability to actually cure itself or help itself get over or through something. So maybe it won't get 100% better, but if you can do a few things, say maybe sleep helps 20%, diet helps 20%, attitude helps 20%, that stuff all adds up. So that's why we really focus on shifting everything 2 or 3 degrees. Remember, inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. We know that there are millions of people out there suffering with chronic invisible diseases like fibromyalgia. So maybe you're on here because you have fibromyalgia. Maybe you think you do, but you're not sure if you do. So I am not here to diagnose or treat, but I am going to share because I've gotten this question so many times. So, and again, I've made tons of notes, guys. I've got them all back here. So I want to make sure that I help hit your questions here. So if you don't know, fibromyalgia is a very complex neuromuscular skeletal disease. It has a ton of symptoms. That's why it can be very tricky to diagnose. Ultimately, it's diagnosed off 11 pain points and then having an inflammatory marker be elevated. However, if you had rheumatoid arthritis, if you had RSD, if you had complex regional pain syndrome, any of those other diseases, you could also have 11 or more pain points. You could also have elevated levels of C-reactive proteins or other sedimentation rates or other inflammatory markers. So if you have fatigue, that can be very common in fibromyalgia. Sleep, memory issue. They call it fibro brain, just because your brain is so tired of having pain and lack of sleep that it actually doesn't think very clearly. I know people call it chemo brain after cancer or chemotherapy. They call it fibro brain. Also, it's very common to have headaches. It's very common to have TMJ, irritable bowel, constipation, leaky gut, anxiety, depression. There is a whole list of things that you can be feeling if you're subject to fibromyalgia. So again, I'm not here to diagnose or treat. What I do know is it's generally onset by what's called the perfect storm. It's onset by something traumatic that's happened in your life, whether it's an emotional stress, maybe someone died, or maybe your house caught on fire, maybe you got very, very sick and got Lyme's disease or had a very bad strep infection, maybe you end up having some radical surgery and breaking your knee or foot. There's some perfect storm that generally starts setting off this whole inflammatory cascade within your body. What happens when you have some type of a perfect storm that sets it off, your body doesn't have the reserves to calm down the nervous system, hence everything starts dumping over into the muscles. Everything starts dumping over into the nervous system because honestly, we have things in our body that calm down our nervous system, like calcium is one of the most abundant minerals. It also is our body's natural tranquilizer. So maybe you're low on calcium, and when your body has a fight or flight response, it can't calm it down. Or maybe you're not sleeping enough, and sleep is a secret weapon. That's when our brain really rejuvenates, regenerates, we restore hormones. But if you're in such a stressful situation that you can't get to sleep and your brain can't calm down, it's going to dump over into the muscles and the rest of your body. So really what I want to get out, we can talk about risk factors and other things, but I want to get down to the 5 do's and don'ts, because I think most people nowadays, 20 years ago it wasn't true, most people nowadays know what fibromyalgia syndrome is. If you're on here, it's probably because you know someone or love someone that has it, and you know when you read anything on the computer, it says there is no cure. So I'm going to say that I don't buy, because I know that if you break your leg or cut your finger, I use that all the time. If I were to cut my face, I know that my body would heal. How it would heal, if it would heal 100%, 50%, and the time it would heal really depends on what I have in my body, my immune system, my collagen, all those things that I do to repair something like a cut. The same thing happens after something like the perfect storm. So let's talk about the do's and don'ts and why. So the first one is, number one, you guys can probably guess this, you do want to eat real food. We know that sugar increases inflammation. If you're eating processed foods, and this is very common because if you have fibromyalgia, you're tired, you're stressed out, it's hard to meal plan, you don't have enough energy to cook, so oftentimes it's easier just to grab some processed food. However, we know that processed food increases inflammation. It also actually causes a lot of imbalances in your brain's neurotransmitters. If you can be simply eating whole foods, pick up a rotisserie chicken, a bag of broccoli, organic broccoli hopefully, boil it and throw a little bit of butter on it, some olive oil, whatever you have. Eating whole, real food is how your body breaks down and gets nutrients like vitamin B and vitamin D and calcium, magnesium. Eating healthy fish, your body will get nice omega oils out, which also help the brain and the joints. So when you go start eating real food and cutting out the processed food, that may help your situation 10%, 20%. I've seen it help people 50%. So normally what I do is recommend cutting out all processed food, all sugar, and then cutting out the top 10 food allergies. So that would be dairy and peanuts, mostly eggs and shellfish and soy. So, and gluten, of course, because that's going to be processed. And that can actually seem to get people 30 to 40 to 50% better in most cases. The other thing is water, which really should be number one, because we know we can only go about 3 days with water. That's how essential it is for our body. And when people are tired and don't feel good, or they're on different medications, sometimes it cuts off the thirst mechanism and we forget that we're thirsty. Normal people just walking around, almost 80% of us are dehydrated anyway. So think of beef jerky versus prime rib. So with fibromyalgia, it's a lot of painful muscles, a lot of knots sometimes in their muscles, a lot of tenderness. Well, again, if you had a piece of beef jerky, I should have brought one. It's brittle, it doesn't turn very well, it's kind of chewy, versus prime rib, which is nice and supple. So you want to think of that when you're thinking about the muscles of your body. So you can get, again, another 10 or 15% relief simply by drinking water. Taking an Epsom salt bath with different Epsom salt, throw some essential oils in there. Again, water is so important. That's why we can only go about 3 days. I was just watching Naked and Afraid, and they said to find a pot of water to boil water. It's that important to have water. Days without food, 3 days without water. So make a priority to drink water. Make a priority to drink real or eat real food. Number 3, get plenty of sleep. I touched on that a minute ago. Sleep is how our body restores. It is our secret weapon for defense. Think of your pet, or maybe think of your child. When they're sick, they sleep because the body's resting. When you're eating or you're up moving around, your nervous system is acting all the time. It cannot repair and restore what it needs to. So if you're getting at least about 7 to 9 hours of sleep is what every adult needs. And if you have problems sleeping, there's lots of great tools that you can use. I have a whole YouTube video on sleep hygiene, but very simply, focusing on sleep. If you have trouble getting to sleep, the number one thing we suggest you do is actually set your wake up time. So you work backwards. So if you know that you have a hard time waking up in the morning, set your wake up time at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. every single morning. That will help get your body regulated to go to bed by 10 o'clock. Shut the electronics off. That's part of my bedroom hygiene. Drop the temperature down in your room a little bit by about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Our body actually produces melatonin in the presence of darkness. So start making things dark in your room. Even if the street light's shining in, make it dark, put up a towel or whatever you need to do. Even turn off your salt lamp, turn off your essential oil lamp. You can still let them be on your pillow or your bed and the water in the sink, but turn the lights off. That's how our body makes melatonin. There are so many people out there taking melatonin when your body actually makes it all the time. You just got to let it be dark in there. So sleep is that secret weapon. So if you're a person who is having a lot of trouble sleep, I would say focus on that first, because that's going to be a really important tool to helping your body repair and restore those hormones so your body can actually relax. The nervous system can relax. Again, there's things like chamomile tea, there's different essential oils, there's different sleep blends. Vitamin D is very essential. I like to have vitamin D levels at 60 to 80 optimally, so make sure that your vitamin D level is over 60, and I know Dr. Winters even likes to have it above 100. She wrote The Metabolic Approach to Cancer, so the higher the better in vitamin D. With that being said, that leads right into getting some exercise. We know that exercise helps relieve a lot of natural endorphins. It gets our lymphatic system going. A lot of times with fibromyalgia, people are not moving because they're sore and stiff, and what they need to do is, number one, get doing some yoga or some meditation, some deep breathing. We can only go a couple minutes without oxygen. So start there. If you are a person, again, couch to 5K, right now, if your body is sore, you cannot move, we have to get you moving. The very simple thing is to walk 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, and 5 minutes in the evening. Start with that and then increase 2 or 3 minutes each session throughout the day. Because if you break it up, it's going to keep your lymphatic system going. It's going to get a little sweat on. It's going to get the toxins out of your body. Yoga is great. Tai Chi is great. You know, maybe you're not having as much issue. We definitely don't want you overworking out, because every time you lift muscles and work out, things like kickboxing, you actually break down lean muscle mass. And in order, if your body doesn't have enough to restore it, then you can actually, and you're not feeding on proper high fats, your body can actually lose some lean muscle. So just get your body moving. And our motto has always been at the Cardin Center for Wellness is get in where you fit in. So if you're not doing anything, my challenge to you is start 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime, and 5 minutes at night. If you're already doing that, then do 10, 20, 10. Just break it up, because again, you're getting a lymphatic system going. Infrared saunas are great. Those are also help get your lymphatic system going, also calms down your nervous system. We also know that exercise turns on those happy endorphins. We see with fibromyalgia a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety. Number one, if you're not sleeping, those brain neurotransmitters are not going to repair. If you're eating a high processed diet, not any healthy fats, because our brains are 60% fat, you're going to see that you're unable to down-regulate those excitatory neurons, so it's overexciting the skeletal muscle system. Calming down the GABA will actually help those happy hormones turn on as well, which will be a double win. So exercise gets you sweating, gets lymphatic going, gets your muscles moving, increases joint flexibility, also super good for your brain, and you're going to have time to get some extra vitamin D while you're outside. The fifth one, attitudes. Think of a positive attitude. I know I've talked before, is the cup half full? Is the cup half empty? Well, we all have challenges in our life, and I know we all have stories. So find a story that somehow inspires you and brings hope, and hope generally generates some type of action. So watch something that's very moving on TV. Don't watch horror shows, don't watch crime shows, don't listen to negative music. Listen to happy music. I don't care if it's 80s music, 60s music. Get everything positive around your brain. There's things in your house that have maybe a negative reminder. Take that picture down, take that pillow away, whatever it might be. And then again, when it comes to TV, which I always say limit TV, watch some happy shows, watch some funny shows, watch game shows. They're super good for your brain, and cut down on your computer time. That will help as well. But when it comes to attitude, again, we all have challenges throughout the day, whether it's at work or whether it's finances, some type of stress. You need to find a way to let that go. Number one, everybody can do a gratitude journal and write something down. We can all do a random act of kindness, smile or wave at someone, no matter how bad you're feeling. Send a text to someone you haven't talked to for a little bit and talk about them. Redivert that focus on your pain and have someone else notice how you're feeling, or maybe focus on them for a minute. And we also know it's super important to find support groups wherever you are, because I know oftentimes when people don't feel good 24/7, there can be shaming and blaming. That whole victim thing comes up. And when you can turn that around, the cup is half full, and say, you know what, I'm still here. I can still see. I can still talk. I can still move even though it hurts. I still can enjoy these things in life. When you can start telling yourself those positive things over and over and over again, it's going to turn on those happy neurotransmitters. Also, again, I mean, I love essential oils. Chiropractic care, again, will help balance out your nervous system. I'm sorry, my paper turned over here, guys. I'm usually a little bit more. I'm over-organized tonight because I had way too many. So I also talked about stress. I had some great stats written down here that they talked about, that 43% of people that suffer from stress have sleep, digestive issues like ulcer, because stress causes ulcers. We also know they have headaches or migraines. We know there's stress and headache migraines. We also know it causes fatigue. Well, aren't those the same symptoms that we just said described that people with fibromyalgia have? Exactly the same. 75 to 90% of all visits to the primary care physician are actually stress related. So think about that for just a minute. If you're overstressed, your mouth gets dry, your blood pressure goes up, your pupils dilate, your muscles tense up, and if your body doesn't have enough of those natural elements like B vitamins and magnesium and calcium to actually calm down the nervous system, then they're going to overexcite and continue on, and it will amplify more than it will for someone else. So think about that for a minute when you start to identify it. So the 5 do's and don'ts are pretty simple. It is 1, eat real food, 2, drink half your body weight in water, 3, work on sleep or work on your sleep hygiene. Number 4 is exercise, and 5 is attitude. I know it seems really, really simple, but I want you to take those 5 things and say, you know what, that stress thing is the hardest thing for me, but I know I can do a better job drinking water. I know I can do that. And if it's food and you need help, jump over to my blog, AskDrHeather.net, and I have 1,000 recipes that are all gluten-free. All of them are paleo. I would say 88%, maybe 95% are dairy-free. There's probably only 4 recipes that are dairy-free. Just put coconut milk in there instead. And you're going to find everything's going to be low-carb or keto depending on what your macros are. And they're very, very simple. Busy mom of 4. I know how to make things simple and prepare. And when you can pre-plan that out, it makes life much better. And when it comes to support and accountability and exercise, that can be all the same umbrella. So find someone who you know knows your body and knows that you don't always have a good day, but knows the importance of you getting moving. So maybe one day you can go out and play a game of tennis. The other day, it's all you can do is to do some mild stretching, some foam rolling, and just walk around the block. Grab someone and make them accountable. This is when you have to get somebody on your phone in a different state and, hey, let's go for a walk, because that's a great thing about FaceTime right now. Or maybe you need to hear that really good music or meditation music and get out and get moving. There's so many ways to pull yourself out of a slump that you can do, but you've got to find, again, those free and easy tools. Phone a friend, listen to some great music, watch some funny TV. Again, I love game show TVs because they don't last very long, and if you miss part of it, it's okay, but it makes your brain think as well. So just put on game show TV and forget the soap operas. But again, getting that support and getting those positive mojos are so, so important for your body. And when it comes to food, if that's the hardest part for you, simply start with breakfast. That's the most important meal of the day because it breaks the fast. So if you, again, don't have any other idea what to do with dinner or lunch, start with breakfast. You're going to hear me say all the time, it's better to have no breakfast than to have a sugary breakfast. Like, we don't want bananas and oatmeal, things like that. We want quiche, bacon and eggs, smoked salmon with veggies. I have amazing keto waffle. I have amazing keto porridge recipe. Have some keto cream in your coffee or chai latte tea. So make sure that you're getting those healthy fats in your brain. And think of fats this way if you're brand new to the fat conversation. I know in the 80s we were told no fat, no salt, and no fasting. Well, I'm here to tell you what we've been doing hasn't been working. That's why the diseases of civilization are on the rise, and 97% of all diseases are preventable by lifestyle changes. So if we think about that for a second and say, you know what, I can drink more water for sure. Even though I don't like the taste of it, I definitely can drink more water. I definitely can turn my TV show off. I can definitely try getting to bed earlier, right? I definitely know my body hurts, but I've got to get moving every day. So find that accountability partner and make that happen. Yes, I do have a couple. So I'll talk about that in just a second, Ginger. I'll answer some questions here. So those are really just my 5 tips tonight. I have a whole, I should show you this whole big sheet over here. I have all things written down about to continue, but I thought, you know, we need to keep this simple. Eat real food, because then again, the toxins don't dump over into the muscles. It doesn't overexcite the nervous system, which causes headaches and TMJ. Also ulcers, leaky gut. When you're eating processed food, the body cannot break it down. So Ginger, the book I have is called the 10-Day Keto Kickstart Reset book. It's just a 24-page super easy manual with some meal menus, recipes. It's a place to journal. It's just some ways to really get started on eating whole, real food. And yes, Karen, you'll see an amazing relief with sleep apnea. The answer is why? Well, if we're eating carbohydrates, which increase inflammation, inflammation can cause the nasal septum to be inflamed. We find this all the time with chronic sinusitis and allergies, that it's either a dairy allergy or a wheat, or maybe it's a yeast allergy. So that would be things, fermented things. It would be baked things or yogurts, dairy. All those things actually increase the mucous membrane. If you take the foods away that decrease the mucous membrane, also adding exogenous ketones in there will actually help increase oxygen to your body while you're sleeping. I love the Keto Calm tea that Prove It has. And also, when you get out moving more, exercising more, I'll talk about my neighbor across the street. He is a world-ranked Ironman. I could no more go out and run 70 miles in my peak shape 4 years ago or 5 years ago. I couldn't do it. I could do a kickboxing class for a good hour. I could probably go run 5 or 6 miles. I could bike a good 20, but I definitely couldn't do that because the body gets conditioned. So as you get more oxygen in your body, get the lymphatic system going, you're going to have decreased inflammation in the septum. Hopefully you're going to lose a little bit of fat, which will also help with the sleep apnea. And then again, you're going to reduce the mucous membrane, and saline rinsing will help as well. We brush our teeth every day. We shower every day. It makes sense that we should probably rinse out our mucus, our sinus membranes, which would help also. But again, if your sats are dropping and your doctor's recommended that you need a CPAP, I'm not going to overview your doctor's recommendation, but there are some very easy things that you can do to simply help reduce the inflammation in your body. body. And when you can get breathing while you sleep, it's going to make an amazing difference how you wake up. Because I know when you don't have sleep, your body feels hungover or carb hungover, things like that. So very simply, just start with breakfast and start identifying those 5 factors. So real food. We all got that. Drink half your body weight in water. Get moving. If you've been moving, say, you know what, I walk 30 minutes every single day. If you've been doing the same thing for the last 3 years, you need to switch it up. Go play tennis, go play with a frisbee, do a yoga class, do maybe a kickboxing class, get on a mini tramp. You've got to create some type of metabolic confusion so you use different muscles, because with fibromyalgia, it is an inflammation of the muscle system. So you need to give some muscles a break and overutilize some, so it actually creates that confusion so the body can't tell where the inflammation needs to settle. Again, it's a very complex disease. It can be very confusing, but I don't want people to think when they say there's no cure that you have to live with what it is. Our body repairs every day. I could give Ginger, it hasn't scrolled up yet, my kidney, it may work, right? Or if Karen breaks her leg or breaks her shin bone, it should repair. Or if I'm in a car wreck and I, break my arm or leg, those should absolutely repair. I see questions coming in here, guys. So I want to make sure that I help get those questions here. But that's really all I have tonight. Just want to cover those 5 kind of do's and don'ts with fibromyalgia. I had a ton of questions. I had about 10 pages of notes, but I really wanted to keep it simple and give you tips that you can actually implement tonight, not implement in tonight, which is make that choice. If you normally get ready to go to bed and you normally have a bowl of cereal, a bowl of popcorn, a glass of wine, have a cup of tea, have some bone broth, have some water. We'll work it off. Go get in the bathtub, dump some Epsom salts in there, because our skin is our largest organ. It's the best way for our body to detoxify. It helps balance out our body's pH. There's magnesium, potassium, and trace minerals in Epsom salts, which helps our muscles relax. Put some extra essential oils in there. I've even used chamomile tea bags inside my bath. So it's a great way to get your body just relaxed so you can get that good sleep and make your bedroom dark while you're in the bathtub. So when you come out, don't check your phone, don't check that stuff. Set your bedtime. So just start with a routine. Again, identify which one of those factors of those 5 that really hone in true to you. Like stress is definitely a big deal for me. I need to free up my calendar. I probably need not to hang around a couple of these people. I probably need to focus a little bit more on not those type of crime TV shows or whatever Netflix series you're watching, and focus on something happy and go back to watching cartoon with kids. Tom and Jerry. I just saw Dr. Teresa pop on here. Tom and Jerry makes everybody laugh. When you're laughing, you're inducing those happy hormones. You're using your muscles. You're getting lymphatic system going. You're breathing deep. You're getting that respiration going. So going back to some of those childlike movements can be very, very beneficial. Even those primitive movements like crawling when you're really super sore, or doing back rolls, some of those yoga moves, that stuff will all be really important for your body. So I've just got one question there from Kimmy. She says, is half of the blue ocean the same as the max? So Kimmy's asking about Pruvitt's exogenous ketones, which I am one of the specialists for. So compared max to blue ocean, I would say about 3/4, because there's about 30% more ketones in the blue ocean than in the max. So it's 30% more ketones, but it's also more B vitamins. It's got more collagen, more B6, more B12, more niacin, more caffeine. And sometimes more caffeine can be too dehydrating with someone with fibromyalgia. So I actually prefer people using a little bit of the decaf. I also like the orange swirl from Pruvit, which is a chocolate swirl, which has some extra amino acids in there and some inulin or chicory root, which is great for blood sugar. So I know I could probably get carried away with Prove It Nation are answering questions, but hopefully I help bring some tips there to you. When I get done, what I do is I just save the video, I put it on my YouTube channel, I'll refer to it, I'll just title it Fibromyalgia, but I do want to hear from you. So every Thursday night for infinity from now on at 7:30 Central Standard Time, I'm going to come on and talk about a topic that you have asked me to talk about, and I'm going to make it super simple. So here's 5 tips, here's 5 do's and don'ts that will help your body. Again, we're not curing anything, but we're facilitating your body to move forward and not be stuck where it is in a pain syndrome, or not stuck where it is with migraines every day or bowel issues every day. Be active and identify what it is you're doing, because you say, yep, I'm eating processed foods, I'm definitely drinking soda, too much coffee and tea, not enough water, I'm definitely staying up late on my Netflix series, I definitely have way too much stress. Fix the easiest thing first. And for me, guys, that is drinking water. It's often too hard to change the people around you, or to detoxify your work environment, or detoxify your relationships, but you can definitely drink water, right? And you can definitely drink some ketones. You can definitely talk with your doctor and have things checked, like your magnesium, your calcium, your vitamin D level. And again, I don't give those supplements unless they're low on lab reports. So just don't run out there and buy them because I said it. But again, those are our body's natural tranquilizers. But set your brain in and a place for it to come down. Think of our ancestors that used to read by candlelight or oil light. At some time, when the sun goes down, our bodies are supposed to go to sleep. And when the sun comes up, we're supposed to wake up. And then we don't eat until we go catch a rabbit or until we're hungry. So I want you to start doing the same thing. Wake up and definitely drink water, because modern air conditioning definitely dehydrates your body almost more than going and sweating in hours. So you'll lose a pint of water at night while you're sleeping. But if those 5 factors, just say those are those things I can change today. And then we're going to check back in a week with you. I've got questions. Someone asked me about children, intermittent fasting. I've got a question on anti-aging, which could be like a 10-hour topic for me. Also got asked to do some allergy controls. I think we're really going to focus on that. And then throughout the next 10 days, I'm going to be doing a little bit of detoxifying. There'll be 4 or 5 minutes only, short little videos on way that you can help detoxify your surroundings, from the cupboard to the kitchen to your bed sheets. And we're going to do this with very, very simple little lifestyle hacks, because it is allergy season. And what happens is the filters in our body can't control as much as this breathing in and eating in. We know that oftentimes during the summer times, we're barbecuing, we're up later, we're eating more. There's more opportunity to have more alcohol. We're at the lake, we're at the ballpark, we're eating more garbage. So our body actually gets a little more clogged up sometimes in the summertime. So this gives an amazing time for you to actually take some little hints to start cleaning up just a few places in your house to get some big results. So small changes equal big shifts. And what I want to leave you with is that the prescription tonight for you, because I'm going to give you a prescription every night. It may sound the same. So your prescription for anyone suffering from any kind of chronic pain or any type of fibromyalgia complex syndrome, maybe yours is Lyme's disease, or maybe you have ulcerative colitis, maybe you have stress headaches. The number one, or the prescription tonight, is to identify your stressors and reduce your inflammation. That's your doctor's orders. Identify your stressors and reduce your inflammation. You guys know what I'm talking about if you just hung on here for the last 10 minutes. So this is Dr. Heather. I'm super excited to be with you every Thursday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time. And please feel free to share this with people. Please feel free to add friends to this page. My mission is to try to help 1 million people before I leave this earth. I can only do that with your help. So please share. And if you have certain questions, please drop them down below, because whatever questions you have, I'm sure somebody else has. If you're watching this on a replay, please put a sunflower down, because I'm from Kansas, the sunflower states, where they are blooming. I saw on TV a little bit west of town, so definitely need to head on to Lawrence and see what's happening in the sunflower fields out there. But definitely let us know how we can help you answer these questions. And what we do know is that inflammation is the leading cause of all diseases. Inflammation. Carbohydrates break down to sugar. Sugar leads to glucose, which leads to inflammation. So that's why I focus so much on food and so much on eating whole, real food. Get to a farmer's market this weekend. Check what's happening out. There's 4 or 5 right around my area, and I live in the city. So there's lots of goodies that you can get, economical, local grown, organic. So take advantage of those while you can. This is Dr. Heather saying have an amazing, blessed evening, and I'll be seeing you soon.